think you ought to know. That Men's Radio. The place where men and women really speak. Oh man, what a show. It's Men's Radio. This crazy show is on 3 times a week. Now Russ and Phil are there to help with all your cares. We laugh, we cry, we talk like grown-ups do. But if you're sad and low, it won't cost you no dough. Men's Radio, that's the place for you. With Russ Kane and Phil Dave.
And a very good Monday to you all. Hello.
Hello. I'm just looking at the picture here. I look like Homer Simpson because it's gone so yellow. Anyway, I don't have jaundice. I've got many other things, but jaundice isn't one of them. I'm going to do a little bit of a monologue, if I may, Philip. And it's not what I normally do, but I'm going to start with this. No, you don't have to go. Where are you going?
You said you wanted to do a monologue.
No, I do. I do, but I just want to get my point of view across.
It's only because Barry Allen's joined.
Remind me to slap you next time I see you. What was I going to say to you? No,
you were saying you want to do a monologue.
No, I do. It's something right out of my head. I can't remember what it said. Right, okay. I'm going to start with this. This was a story. It's a well-known story, but it was told to me by my best pal, Larry Viner. And it goes like this, that a guy goes to see a psychiatrist that he hasn't seen before. And he goes to see this psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist says, "How can I help you?" And the guy says, "Well, I just don't see the point in anything anymore. I feel really depressed. I feel very miserable. The world holds nothing for me. And, I've just had enough. I'm just really down." And he says, "Well, I tell you what, you need cheering up. The circus is coming to town. And I understand that this circus has the most brilliant clown called Pagliacci. Go and see the circus. Go and see Pagliacci and his act, and it'll cheer you up." And the man says, "But doctor, I am Pagliacci." And that's really how I'm feeling today. Over the weekend, I decided to come off social media. I can't take it anymore. Now, Phil and I have discussed this for ages, and Phil has made the point that if it weren't for business, he wouldn't be on social media at all. And I've decided to come off it. Whether it'll last an hour, whether it'll last a day, whether it'll last a week, I've no idea. I can't take it anymore. I just can't. So I made some statements on social media, and that is it. I haven't switched off my accounts, but I'm not going to be doing it anymore. Not until I feel different, because I honestly think the world has gone raving mad, and the events over the weekend have just underlined everything. I think this country just wants a civil war. I actually think they just want a war, because the side taking is amazing. But the final thing for me was this poor girl, Sarah Everard, and how her death has been hijacked by everyone with an axe to grind. I am not talking about women saying they feel unsafe. That is an entirely valid thing to say. But I cannot believe that an actress has suddenly been made a celebrity, because my view is, it's not about you. It's about the poor girl who was killed, who was found dead. Apparently, I can't use the word murdered, but let's be honest, she didn't cut herself up, did she, and distribute herself among a woods. Let's be serious about this for a minute. Of course she was murdered. Legally, you can't say that. Well, it wasn't an accident. So the fact that, there's so many things spinning out of this, but I just can't read this stuff anymore. I just have had enough. I can't read it anymore. I can't stand it that somebody who goes there as a sort of agitprop gets kneeled on by the police, which looked like extremely aggressive behavior to me. And then the next day, boom, we're all over television and radio because it's all about you. It's not about you. It's about the girl who's dead. And, you know, and the other thing is this about protests. Every man that I know respects women, respects them properly, treats them decently. Okay? If you're a raving psychopath who's going to go and kill women randomly, total strangers on the street, you're not going to look at people with candles, and you're not going to look at people protesting outside Parliament and go, do you know what? Now that I've considered it, I guess that murdering and mutilating people probably is wrong. No, you won't think that because you're a psychopath. You're a killer. The rest of the men don't really, even if it's like, okay, treat people better, I get that. You're not going to convince lunatics. You're never going to, because they're lunatics. So that is why I've had to come off social media for the good of my own mental health, because it's just been crushing me. And I'm going to throw myself back into writing my books, back into the world of fiction, back to my happy place behind the keyboard, not reading this utter shite. You know, it's just like the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. Now, I don't know whether this woman who's now all over television getting interviews, the actress, I don't know if she was there deliberately or whether this is all genuine. I have no clue. I haven't met her. I don't know her. But there's form. So it's like, it's the hijacking of something which is tragic. And we've got wonderful, wonderful listeners all over the world and viewers. And Phil, jump in whenever you want. Somebody tell me this. You're going to a vigil about a murdered girl. You bring along an effing Palestinian flag. Could somebody tell me what the flying hell that has got to do with it? What's that got to do with it? Answer, nothing.
Well,
Rent a mob.
Okay, so there are an awful lot of points that you have raised here. So if I start off with the vigil, first and foremost, I'm absolutely staggered that the emphasis, this is one of the things that I put out there through the program I produced this morning. I said I absolutely can't understand the logic behind having a go at the police. The police were there to enforce the law, and the law was being broken. It's as simple as that. Under COVID law at the moment, no one is allowed to meet in an indoor or an outdoor environment of more than one person from one household with another. When there's in the middle of a pandemic, why the hell do people think it's okay to meet in a massive crowd? I don't care if you call it a vigil. I don't care if you call it a protest. You call it whatever the heck you like. It's a large crowd of people that is not okay in the middle of a pandemic.
Here's the question for you. Here's the question for you, Phil. Here's the question for you. And this is where I get really furious. Why is it okay that when Extinction Rebellion are dragging London to a standstill, why is it when BLM, a Marxist organization, an avowed, it's not me being rude, it's an avowed Marxist organization, that the policemen physically take the knee? But why is it then when women holding a candlelit vigil have the crap beaten out of them? Can somebody explain the disparity? What's going on with the police with that?
Well, no doubt about it. Neither is okay. So I would suggest that neither is okay in the sense that there shouldn't have been any Extinction Rebellion protest. I remember distinctly kicking up a stink at the time of that. I also absolutely kicked up a stink at the time of the BLM protest as well, saying that should not happen during COVID. And I kick up a stink at this as well. I do not understand how in this country, why on earth are we such a soft touch? It's lunacy. You know, on one hand, everyone goes through such misery. And
for a year of missing our children, our families, our loved ones, our friends.
But
you can't have one rule for one. It's either a rule or it's not a rule.
Completely. You only have to think of the inconvenience we've all gone through, and from a more important perspective, think of the loss that has been incurred, whether that be through financial loss or indeed the loss of loved ones. The loss of loved ones is hideously unfortunate considering all of these measures, but loss has been the name of the game this last year for many, many people up and down the country. It is exacerbated by individuals who do not listen to the rules. So why the hell is it okay for a massive crowd of people? I don't care if it's in an outdoor environment. I don't care if they're wearing masks. I don't care if they think they were socially distanced. They were not socially distanced. Do me a favor. You only have to.
Of course they will. No, Ed, here we go. Ed Grossman. Russ, the woman in charge, who's Cressida Dick, murdered. Let me just read this and I'm going to answer Ed. All right. Russ, the woman in charge, Cressida Dick, murdered an innocent tourist at Stockwell Station. Does that answer your question? No. She gave the order during 7/7 when a man had leapt over, an innocent man had leapt over the barriers, and there was a terrible, terrible mistake. However, so many people had been killed that day, Ed. The atmosphere was tremendously awful. Everyone was in shock. Now, I can't say if I was in charge that I wouldn't have given the same order. It was a terrible, dreadful error. A dreadful error that a totally innocent man, an electrician as it happens, from Brazil, was shot.
It's curious.
Under the assumption that he was a terrorist. He wasn't.
But it is.
Yes, Cressida Dick did give the fire order. That is quite correct.
But it is quite curious, though, the way that no one ever says if he just hadn't have run from the law. You know, an innocent person doesn't run. I don't care what anyone says. Anyway, look, that's to one side. I don't think that's really what the point in question here, if I'm honest.
Well, no, but I'm answering Ed's point because I don't think one has got nothing. You can't conflate it with the other.
If you ask me, am I a fan of Cressida Dick? Then the answer is most certainly not. I think she's a dreadful commissioner from what I have seen.
And the irony is,
the mess is
this is the first, she's gay as well. So she's the first openly gay female head of the police. It should be a fantastic thing. And even that isn't enough. That's the salutary point, isn't it? It's extraordinary. You would have thought that she would have been embraced and, saluted. And yet, it's not enough. Wrong kind of woman. I don't know.
Anyway,
had it been a guy, it would have been even worse.
Anyway, on the social media front that you raised a little earlier on, then you know full well I've said this before, that I had to sort of step back from social media at one time because it just started getting a bit too much. Yeah. I wholeheartedly believe that if this world wants any hope, I know it will never happen. So if anyone starts jumping on the bandwagon, it's not going to happen, they're not going to happen. I get it. I know it's not. You're going to think this somewhat ironic, the fact that we are broadcasting live on social media, that I would even say something like this. But I wholeheartedly believe that if the world wants any chance of regaining some sense of sanity, in particular to younger people, then social media has to either be heavily, heavily curbed or better still shut down. I know it will never happen. You don't need to all jump on the bandwagon and tell me that. I'm well aware it won't happen. But I am just saying from my perspective, if there was half a shred of sense, then that is what would happen. Because all you hear about is younger people now feeling the pressures and being bullied by keyboard warriors, people who are cowards, who hide behind fake profiles, who just haven't got a flipping clue how to confront someone face on because they don't have the backbone to do it. So instead, they make someone else feel terrible for it.
Now, this is, in case you think, well, we've turned into a news program, we haven't, because this is all about mental health. That's the point. This is about mental health. I'm not talking politics. I'm talking about everybody's mental health, and for once I put my own at the forefront of the front end of the show. Let me just say this, because I can see Leslie Demise has made a comment. I do not know one single woman, not one, who has not had a horrible and frightening experience at the hands of a man. Not one. Women who've been followed home from tube stations, women who have been harassed in offices or hotel rooms when they've been on conferences, women who have been bullied in the workplace, domestic violence. The list goes on and on and on and on. It is a horrible and a real issue. And as I said, and I stand by that, I don't know one single woman who has not experienced something deeply, deeply unpleasant, getting touched up on the tube, all the rest of it. Conversely, I have a wonderful daughter who I absolutely adore. And if something happened to her, God forbid a million times, because it would be the end of me. But if something did, I would want it kept in the family. I would not want strangers jumping on with their political agenda and turning this into something else, because I think it's just so wrong. And I wonder how, in the center of this, how the family actually feel. They're going through the worst grief imaginable, and suddenly people they don't know, total strangers, hijacking the whole event, hijacking this tragedy. And that's what I think is just it was awful. It's awful.
But it is a culture that has been bred over social media for a long time now, where the number of people, first, may I say as well, the number of stupid people, seriously, you don't have to be intelligent to realize that there are some really ridiculous, moronic idiots out there who have access to social media, and it gives them a voice. It gives them a platform to start talking about things they know nothing about. I hold my hands up. When I don't know about something, I admit it. And technically, part of the job working in radio is you're supposed to know all of the current news and stories that are going on. And if I tell you, I am actually probably one of the most transparent people, it's possibly why I haven't been more successful and managed to blag my way into anything. But the point is that I'm honest enough to say, do you know what? I don't know enough about that. And people actually get quite when I say that. Right. The fact that some people believe themselves to be experts, I'm not just talking about COVID, I'm not just talking about Brexit, it's with everything.
It's with everything. But what I think has really been smacking me in the face, and this has been coming a long, long time, we've talked about it extensively with our guests as well, the psychologists, the counselors, the psychiatrists that we have as our special guests here on Men's Radio Station. And it's this: there's no middle ground. And this started vaguely with politics. And then Corbyn got in. And then it got very extreme. So that was the first thing. Then you had Brexit, as we know from that dinner party, Philip. No middle ground. Either you wanted to remain or you wanted to leave. And if you wanted to leave, you were, of course, a moron, an idiot, and a little Englander, and everything else, and incredibly stupid. There was no middle ground there. Then, thanks.
Oh, the enthusiasm. He's turned his microphone off as a result of it. We can't hear you, Russ, I'm afraid. Anyway, I'm sure Russ will get his microphone back in just a moment's time. Meanwhile, whilst he's working on getting that back, one other thing that I was noticing as well is that I absolutely can't stand the fact that social media has given way for individuals to jump on what I could only describe as the grief wagon. And by that, I mean that if you take a really horrible, horrible story, such as what's happened to Sarah Everard, ghastly. No one could say it's anything but. Anyone would say it's anything but. But it gives people the opportunity to say that it's about them. In other words, they'll say things like, I'm heartbroken by this news. You're not heartbroken. You may find it very sad. You're not heartbroken. Don't be ridiculous. This is not about you. This is about the family. They are the ones who are heartbroken. Dare I even suggest possibly the family of the accused, because don't forget their lives will change forever. But to someone who had no idea who this person was and never even heard of her a few weeks ago, you don't have any right whatsoever to say you're heartbroken. Seriously. That's just drawing attention to you, using a very sad situation to make it about you. And it kind of goes back to a little earlier on. I think it was Andy Lucas who said that she commented saying that it's a me society now, or culture. And it's so true. All we seem to hear about is how individuals have got it worse than someone else. One person will say how they've got it worse than another. You just think it's an absolute outrage. What on earth is the matter with folk? Seriously. From my perspective, as I say, this whole issue over the weekend, number one thing that strikes me is the fact that it's the police to blame. No, it's not. Okay, the police might have been heavy-handed, but they're trying to enforce the law. Thank goodness they're trying to enforce the law. How many times have you been out and about and you've seen something happen and you think to yourself, if only there was a police officer around? Well, now there was a police officer. That's not good enough either. It's ridiculous. It's as simple as this. They should not have been out and about during a time of a pandemic. It's not rocket science. Scientists who are far cleverer than we could ever hope to be have said the way forward and the way out of this is to maintain distance from one another. Not forever, but for now. And to break it early for the sake of some stupid protest, I'm sorry, it is stupid. The cause is not stupid. The action of doing it is stupid. The cause is absolutely worthwhile. But there were other ways of doing it. It could have been an online vigil. Anyone ever thought of that? An online vigil would have been powerful. And it would have gained attention because it would never have ever happened before. And it would have gained attention for the right reasons, more importantly. Not because it got out of hand.
No. Lisa Jane, it's very sweet of you. Now concerned about Russ. Don't be concerned about me. I've just had enough. So all I'm doing is detoxing from what is a horrible, poisonous, pointless atmosphere. And the reason I told the Pagliacci story is I'm just, if you want to entertain, then you got to. The other stuff comes under your purview, and you see it. And I just don't want to see it anymore. And it got to the stage I really think I just don't want to live here anymore. I just don't want to live in the United Kingdom anymore. I actually don't want to live here. I've been thinking this for quite some time. And then you think, well, where am I going to go? I've got to go somewhere where I can speak the language. Otherwise, it's hopeless. It's absolutely hopeless. But this country.
Have you thought about Kazakhstan?
I've thought about. I'm thinking about places like Texas, Texas and Arizona. I think I'd be pretty comfortable there. Got space.
It's a red
language. It's what?
It's a red state.
It's a red state. I could buy a gun. I'd be happy. It's kind of what I want to do. It's kind of what I want to do. I guess you'd go in small incremental steps and think, well, I love London. I'm a Londoner. This is my city. But really, kind of done it now. I've lived without theatre for a year. I've lived without cabaret for a year. It's okay. It's okay. Now here we go. Leslie Demiza. Hello, fabulous fellows. The good news. I'm delighted to return from my fabulous dentist. That's fabulous twice in one sentence. Must try harder. And now my bottom teeth, which were damaged when I tripped last November when she was blind drunk coming out of a pub, looks fabulous again. That's 3 fabulouses. We'd like a mental picture. No, we want a physical picture of your fabulous teeth, apparently. Australia, New Zealand, a good choice. Well, no, I don't fancy that. USA guns. Yeah, totally. I'd have one. I'd carry one here.
Oh, no, really?
No, I would. No, I would. I absolutely would.
I've never been against police officers being armed, but I'm absolutely against civilians being armed.
I'd kind of carry one. This too shall pass. Yeah, of course it'll. Well, yes, it will. But it's the. You know what it is? I think it was like Hitler and all the rest of it, and Goebbels. If you tell a big enough lie, and you keep telling the same lie, eventually it becomes the truth. And there's been very interesting articles written by people I hugely respect, and it says, what is the difference between truth and lies? It's now suddenly it's just become the same thing. It's just become the same thing. A so-called interviewer gets $9 million for interviewing two people, doesn't ask one leading question. $9 million she walked away with.
Chrissy Holt.
Doesn't ask one leading question.
Chrissy Holt, really? Just get out of London, Russ. Scotland is a good place.
Well, it's also very cold.
Scotland's the
That's
place.
the weather. We need better weather. We need better weather.
How can you possibly think that any country that votes Nicola Sturgeon in charge of it is a good idea?
I know. The things that I have loved about social media is the humor. Absolutely. There are some magnificent people who just make me roar with laughter. And I love them. Bless them. I love them. And it's been such a fillip. I don't mean Philip. I mean, it's been a fillip. You know what I'm saying? You take yourself with you wherever you go. Everywhere I go, you always take the weather with you, says Ruthie Siegel, listening and watching in France. Of course you do.
Apparently she's listening to Crowded House.
Hey, everywhere you go, always take the weather with you. I think this is nice. Buy a home in Italy. I love Italy. Love Italians. I love the food. I love the cars. I love the fashion, the wine. Beautiful place. I love Italy. Don't you like Italy?
I don't think you like what's going on with COVID at the moment over there.
No, obviously. No, I'll tell you what, Leslie, do you want to come on? You can come on the show and we can see you.
This is what
see you, sweetheart, if you want.
This is what, though, really annoys me about the way that sort of the country is all about doom and gloom. We should not be doom and gloom. We are third in the world for the vaccination rollout. Okay. Third in the world. Britain has never come that high at anything. With a possible
Eurovision with Lulu, boom, bang, a bang.
Yeah, we came here, but that was Eurovision. That wasn't the world.
Oh, okay.
The point.
We all know Australia's part of Europe. What is that about?
I know, and Israel.
Part of Europe.
Israel, but why the hell is Israel in the Eurovision?
God only knows.
But anyway, that's to one side. My point is that we don't have it bad in this country. We are surrounded by people who are forever thinking, woe is me. And it's bringing the rest of us down. And that's what I don't like. Stop giving oxygen to the whingers.
But why was that woman, I'm not even going to bother to name her, why was the actress, I'm not saying she was acting, let's be clear, that's her profession. How did they manage, I'm not even going to go there, but why was she suddenly fated on all the talk shows today? With Ben Shepherd and whoever it was, sitting there. Why? It's not about her. Why? I don't understand. I don't want to go to Spain. Chrissy Holt, no, it's sweet of you. No, don't want to go to Spain. Romney Marsh, no, I don't want to go to Romney Marsh, thank you. Italy I like, but as Kimmy says, Kimmy Lashmar, they're back in lockdown again. France, well, it's full of French. That is your problem there.
Ed Gross, please name her and save us the trouble.
Oh, I can't. Why bother? Why should I give her the oxygen of publicity? Why should I do that when I'm complaining about that very thing?
Can you really not think of an actress who's been overexposed recently? That should give you a bit of an insight.
No, it's not. No. That was Boltoff's Bridge. I don't know where we're going with this. Anyway, that is where we're at. That is today. So I'm not going to be on social media for a bit. I'll probably be back in a few days. Who knows? I might be feeling better. About it. I just can't swim through that sewer anymore. I just can't. I just can't do it. Just can't do it. The Boltoff Bridge pub. Great. What are we going to do? Just name pubs that we like.
No, don't invite that.
What are we going to do? Hey, what's your favourite biscuit? This is BBC Radio Norfolk. What's your favourite biscuit? No,
Lucas,
I don't want to get into all that crap.
Andy Lucas says, is it the Dutch?
Is it the Dutch? What? I'm not even here. Now, interesting. Tell you something.
Russell.
Here's a little barometer of real life. A barometer of real life. Not Twitter life.
Russ.
Not what?
Russ.
What?
She means, is it the Duchess?
No, I'm not talking about her. She's not a Dutch. Is she a Dutch? I don't care what she is. She's diabolical is what she is. I don't care. I don't care about them. Here's the thing. By the way, gang, have you seen someone started a GoFundMe page to buy those two their 16-bedroom home in Los Angeles. Have you ever seen such shit in your life? They've started a GoFundMe page for those multi-millionaires so they can live in that house.
Well, I think that's
The world has just gone insane. What do they do? What? This is what I say. You tell the lie, you keep telling the big lie, and the big lie becomes the truth. Digestives, you're right, Chrissy Holt. Best biscuit ever.
You're listening, by the way, to The Daily Show here on Men's Radio Station with Russ, Kane and Phil Dave. We are live with you till 1 o'clock, taking your thoughts and comments. If you do want to join in, you will find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You are most welcome to join in the conversation. We always love to hear from you. Of course, you can always phone as well, by the way. You ever thought of that?
Stephen Marsh. It was to pay off their mortgage.
0203.
Get off your ass, Harry. Get a job.
11 0203 290 4411. That is the telephone number that you can dial if you wish to join in the conversation. And of course, we are across Deluxe Radio. We're also across the radio waves, mensradiostation.com and the Men's Radio Station app. Loads of ways to join in. Now, Russ, I'm being told off. Apart from the fact you've muted your microphone again, I'm being told off. Ruthie Siegel, Phil, you don't have it good in the UK just because of vaccinations. When I beg to differ, I think that it is true that there are many faults with the UK and with many countries, but I think you'll find, or most people find anyway, that most countries have their faults. You can't get away from that. You know, whichever happens, you could go and live wherever you want in the world and you'll always find something somewhere is not quite right. I'm being funny. There's no such thing as a perfect country. But I suppose that there are countries that are better in line with your way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more the point.
Stephen Marsh, I was feeling fine up to 12 noon. Now I feel depressed. Well, it's life. Sorry, Stephen. It's life. I've always been very, very honest broadcasting. I've always been very, very honest. I don't put on a false front. And this is how I'm feeling, and this is how I'm viewing the world. Now, here's a little snapshot of the reality. Not those people screaming on Twitter into their own bell chamber, but real reality. Two things about Good Morning Britain. Number one, they've lost 500,000 viewers. Number two, they've had about 300 million ITV, 300 million pounds plus wiped off their share price. Number three, Piers Morgan's book has gone to number one in the best-selling charts. That's reality. That's not the fake reality. That's the reality of it. Unbelievable.
And you have to think that Piers must be laughing all the way at the moment.
He's not worried. He's not worried. He's not worried. He's not worried. I don't think he's worried. I don't think he's worried at all. True, from Brexit onwards, it's been a mess. It has. Yeah, from Brexit onwards, we had 3 years of that. My God, I was so bored about talking about that on the BBC every week. Brexit. I said, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I've got nothing else to say on the subject,
I totally and utterly beg to differ. It's not from Brexit. This is what's staggering about people.
No. The divide. It's not about Brexit.
Oh, the divide.
I'm not talking about Brexit caused all this. That's rubbish.
No.
It's more lunacy. No. It's this
but the word
chasm where you've got to choose a side.
Oh, I see. No, from the polarization point of view, absolutely. It was as soon as Brexit came along, or actually it was worse. It was as soon as the vote to leave the European Union. It wasn't so much once we decided to leave the European Union, it was the vote offered to suggest, should we? But look, for some people, it had to happen. I'm not being funny, but I mean, people can blame that as much as they want, and they could say how terrible it was. But there were an awful lot of people out there, to be precise, over 50% of the country, who thought that was overdue and had to happen. So I'm not being flippant. I'm not trying to stir anything up. I don't think it was a simple case of if the Brexit vote had never happened, would the country be this divided? Because actually, I think
divide and conquer, says Melanie Hutchins. Divide and conquer. Do not let it happen, guys. It's exactly people bringing their own agenda. You got to look at the subtext. You look at the subtext of every single news item. You look at the subtext to understand what is really going on. Because the main story is never the story. It's the story behind it that is the actual story.
But make no mistake that if the vote to leave the European Union hadn't have happened, there's no doubt in my mind that people would have been divided, because then you would have just got the people who are saying it, we need to leave, still making a fuss as well. So I don't think that ever would have necessarily been the cause. I don't think that ever necessarily caused.
I'm getting the sweetest look from Ebony, who's not being the most energetic today. Just not being the...
It's not
she's just like Cat Weasel at the moment. She just, oh, you see, this is interesting again. Andrea Lucas, do you really think the BBC is impartial? No, I don't. No, I don't at all.
No,
I don't. I think they have a huge. I can't say who. I had a fascinating conversation on Saturday. I'm not going to say with who. Somebody very well known, and at the head of their particular field. All right, let's leave it at that. About the BBC and box ticking. It was incredible. I knew it was bad. I knew it was bad, Phil.
No, it's devastating.
Then I was shown the email they sent. I can't say anymore. Wow.
Oh, wow. I'm telling you, as someone who's ex-BBC, it's devastating.
It's way worse than you think.
So
it's way worse than you think. It is extraordinary. It's extraordinary. See, it's interesting in life, isn't it? They've axed a show, the Nish Kumar. I can't remember what it was called. I don't know. I got no comment on it. I didn't see it.
Minority Report or something.
Don't care. But they axed the show. Now, I'm not being down on you. It means I don't care. It's not important. Here's the thing, right? Okay, immediately you have to take a side. Oh, they axed it because the guy's left wing. Maybe they axed it because the ratings were crap and it wasn't funny. But you know, pushing a political agenda is not a get out of jail card free if you don't deliver. If you've got what is a comedy show, comedy should be funny. That's it.
My mistake, sorry. Minority Report is a film, of course. And
with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and the program that was axed was called The MASH Report. I'm sorry.
Yes, they axed Tom Cruise's comedy show. That is. Nish Kumar is nished for me. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it is. So I'm sorry if this isn't our normal, incredibly jolly self, but you know, sometimes life just comes at you like a tsunami, and you think, and you feel. I guess I felt over the last few days that I'm like, there's a tsunami, a tidal wave coming, and I'm standing armed with a teaspoon on the beach, and I'm thinking, I'm going to be okay. If I got my teaspoon, I can defend my... No, you can't. You're going to get swallowed up by this thing. So I had to take steps, because what was to be the point of co-founding a radio station where its central plank is mental health, right? If I couldn't take steps to protect my own mental health, which I could see was being heavily affected by just endless pylon after pylon of this nonsense. Have you seen Tom Cruise doing magic tricks? No, I have not seen Tom Cruise doing. Is this a joke? I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan. I think he's amazing. I think he's a great film star. He's a really good actor. His films are always good. And I'm a big fan. And everyone who's met him, who I know some people who've met him, they said he's absolutely charming. Just lovely guy. And very intense. Very charming. And very interesting fellow. Are you sure your mood isn't about Spurs being beaten by Arsenal? No, it's not. It's really. No, it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all. And no. God almighty. Have we dealt with all these lovely comments? There's so many fabulous comments here. There really are. This is great. You're a brilliant audience. And as Phil always says so rightly, you know, it's all about you, and without you. Are we keeping you awake, Philip? Are we keeping you awake because you're wiping your little eyes? He's wiping his little eyes because he looks all sleepy. The penalty. Chucky, shut up, Nancy.
Seriousness, I've actually found. I don't know what it is. I don't know if
got itchy eyes. Diabolical. Itchy eyes. Wow.
No, but I want to know whether or not anyone thinks I should check this out, because I've never had hay fever before, and I have sneezed a lot recently. And my eyes
no, it's dust. This is, you ask lots of people are feeling like you. Two things I've got: which I could see you're doing. One, crazy itchy eyes. What the hell's that about, right?
Really?
Two, when my eyes water, it's like freaking battery acid. I'm going like, Jesus, that hurts. And I'm like, what the hell? Maybe I'm turning into an alien or something. But like, oh, good film for you. Good film if you like those sort of films. It's Russian film. I love Russian films. I like Russian films and I like Spanish TV shows. The Russian film called Sputnik. Sputnik, really good. I enjoyed it very, very much. Sputnik. Hay fever's very bad this year. Hay fever, you don't want to get it. So yeah, hay fever's bad this year. Yeah, a lot of people sneezing and everything like that. So you know what I did yesterday for my own mental health? I'll tell you what I did yesterday.
I had it before. The most bizarre thing.
Yeah, well, I hate to say this. You will loathe this. It's age. I know you're 34. It's age.
Yeah.
It develops. No. In all seriousness, hay fever, which is a pain in the ass. Hay fever, it only develops when you get a bit older. What the hell's that all about? Thank you, God. Another piece of crap we don't need. It's true, isn't it? No, it's true. You don't need it. Whose birthday is it? Happy birthday, Lisa. Somebody's got a birthday? Where's all this? Where's this happening here? Lisa James, happy birthday. Where is this? Is it Lisa James's birthday? Okay, fine. You know what I did yesterday? Cheer myself up and get myself in a right positive frame of mind. Spring cleaned the home.
Lisa says, stop the world, I want to get off. I am not sure if I can cope with any of this anymore. I love this show. You interact with the people watching, which is something I need today as it's my birthday. Thank you both. Lisa, happy birthday.
Get on the phone, Lise. Lise, get on the phone. Let's have a chat. Come on.
203-290-4411.
You did that. You did it. The David Mindel, lovely. See, he's got a nice life. David Mindel left the UK, went down to the south of France 25 years ago. He's got the weather. I just think that's what I think. I just want the weather and the nice food. It looks lovely. It doesn't have to be posh. It's not about Carol Drinkwater. You know, the actress, she was in All Creatures Great and Small. She buggered off to France, right? And I read her stuff every day. We talk every day. I don't know her personally. She's been a guest on the show. Very interesting, different life. It's lovely. Gail Smith's birthday. Oh, happy birthday to Gail Smith. Very, very charming woman that we work with. Leslie and I worked with at Capital Radio for many happy years. Gail Smith, lovely person there. Anyway, Lisa, everyone's wishing you happy birthday. So why don't you come on and then Phil and I can wish you happy birthday personally.
Now there's
listening on Deluxe Radio. I'm waving my eyebrows in a suggestive manner. So either suggestive or I become a ventriloquist dummy.
Which before long he'll probably get arrested for because that's
probably undoubtedly you can't do that. Well, raise your eyebrows. Can't do that. Not allowed. That's certainly not allowed. Anyway, so to get myself ready for my new kind of view on things, I spring cleaned everything within an inch of its life. And when I got out of bed this morning and came into the living room, it looked so shiny. I took everything apart, shined it, dusted it, polished it, hoovered it. It just looks lovely. It's taken away all that horrible dust and made it all shiny. And that's really, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, you know, because when you live in stuff which isn't organized and ordered, I think it affects you. I don't know about you. It affects me. I don't like it. I like minimalism and I like order. What are you doing now? You're doing a little dance. You're doing like a little dance there.
Seriously, I mean, it's no one needs to have this drawn to their attention.
No, but we do. But you're live on camera. You're doing like do a little dance.
If you must know,
make a little love.
Okay,
get down tonight.
For many years, I have had a very bad neck, and once in a while I get a crick in it, so I have to stir it to make sure it doesn't hurt. There you go.
That's all you had to say, because everybody's worried about you. Half the women want to marry you, the other half want to mother you. You're a lucky guy.
It's an interesting.
He's shimmying his wasted on radio.
Possibly frightening concept.
Bit of shit. So, Lisa, what are you doing for your birthday? That's what we want to know. What do you think? Yeah, Melanie Hutchins saying, "Go on, Phil, dance, cheer us up." I've never seen Phil dance. I bet it's great.
I don't think that I've had enough alcohol to justify dancing.
Do you dance? I hate dancing.
Oh, I don't mind
dancing. I hate dancing. I feel like an idiot. I look like an idiot and I feel like an idiot. Apparently, it's not too bad, but I just don't enjoy it.
I don't feel like an idiot as long as there's enough alcohol inside me. If not, Then as long as it's something that's properly coordinated and choreographed.
What like Agadoo or something?
Well, quite. I mean, I'm quite good at the YMCA. Oh no, I just messed up.
That's a worry. That's a worry.
No,
Are you?
joking. No, I haven't got a clue.
Go west. If you start singing that.
Have you heard the new advertising campaign at the moment?
What?
The Go West song. Because they've changed the words to go left, and it's to encourage people who are tired to get off the motorway.
Please tell me you're joking.
No, I'm being absolutely
Go
serious.
left. Go and have a schloof. Go left.
Yeah.
Put back your roof. Go left. Have a nice coffee. Go left. And maybe suck a toffee. Go left. There you go. Boy, no wonder I was top advertising writer.
Himi Lashmar says that was a dyslexic MCAY there. Oh, sorry, YMCA there.
Very good. I never understood why Donald Trump had that as his, it's a big gay anthem, and why he had it as his theme tune. It just seemed weird. Paul Claridge, I've seen Phil dance. He was like a young John Travolta. Wow. Where did you see him dance? I don't think I've ever seen him dance. Anything, just dance. Anything, just dancing. If I'm on my own and just want to, then I sort of crank up Van Halen and sort of leap around a little bit. That's all right. Get my body moving. Who was on the phone? Anyone we know? Was it exciting? We'll never know.
I'm going to give you a clue.
Give me a clue. Lionel Blair, give us a clue.
You ready?
Yeah. Go on. Who's coming on? I'm excited. If it's my mother, that'll be a miracle. She's been dead 3 years. Come on. Who is it?
No, this is exciting. Hang on.
Okay. All right. Okay. In your own time, Phil. That's the main thing. Whenever you want.
There ought to be a time.
You got Stevie Wonder on the line.
Lisa's on the line.
I thought we had Stevie Wonder on the line. I was really impressed.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Lisa Janes. How are you?
Feeling pretty low, to be honest.
Well, great chatting to you. Anyway, here's the weather with Alex Beresford. No, why are you feeling low? What's up? Talk to us and let us make you feel even lower. Go on. What's going on?
Really, I still don't know whether penguins have knees. That's just cheered me up again.
Do penguins have knees? Well, no, but they can put on weight if you eat too many of them because it's the wrong penguins. Okay, move on.
Oh, very funny.
Move on.
No, penguins are quite lucky though, because if they do put on weight, it doesn't show in their beak. So.
No, this is my third rubbish birthday. The first one I snowed in. The second one, I had my leg in a brace and COVID broke out. And the third one, I'm in a COVID lockdown still in Wales, and I'm looking after my terminally ill mum. So yay!
Oh God, Jesus! You had me at Wales, to be honest with you, Lisa. There. So you're looking.
Oh, he's gone again. Dear, oh dear. We've no idea what was the problem with Russ's microphone today. Sadly, it's playing silly beggars, so we do apologise, Lisa. He is still, if you can't see him, he is still there, but we can't hear him. But he is around.
Okay.
Anyway, might I just say that on the front of, when you talk about Wales, obviously very, very sorry to hear about what you're going through at the moment. Might I suggest that if you do have to be stuck anywhere, Wales is quite a nice place to be stuck in. What part are you stuck in?
I'm in a seaside town called Penarth. Near Cardiff.
Well, if it's a seaside town, really, is it not that nice, even if it's seaside?
No, it's not that. They just got the police are stopping you going for walks and everything.
Oh, really?
Countryside. Yeah, they put barriers up everywhere.
Oh my goodness me!
Actually.
Sure. Why? It's ridiculous. Have a walk. If you can't have a walk, you will go nuts.
Crumbs.
Well, this is it. So you can't even go for a nice walk and get an ice cream or anything because
you can't go for a nice walk, but
you.
apparently from today you can get your hair cut, so that's something.
But you can't walk to the hairdressers, presumably. How do you go there on a pogo stick? I mean, how's this going to work out? So, Lisa, you find yourself in a situation that many people dread but are in, and you're looking after you said terminally ill mum?
Yeah, she has a advanced vascular dementia.
Oh dear me.
She's in the late stages, and she's disabled. So I got her home. I got a hospital bed, but it's hard because it's just me and my mum and a couple of
Oh gosh, Lisa, that is rough. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. You know, other stations might give you lots of platitudes, but let's just face it, that is bloody rough on everybody concerned. You know, my mum had Alzheimer's for 16 years. It was diabolical. So that's horrible. How are you coping? How are you finding the strength to do all this?
I don't know. I think you know, my friends ring me and cry and say, "We don't know how you're doing this."
No,
I don't know.
I got to tell you something, Lisa. I couldn't do it. I'm not going to pretend I couldn't do it. I'd find it so. I don't know. Maybe it's daughters and mums who can do it. I think maybe sons and mums just find it extra difficult. I don't know. Maybe it's the way we're made up. It's a huge, huge task that you have, isn't it? It's a huge, and it's presumably 24/7, and you only get respite when your mum has a sleep or has a nap or something. Would I be vaguely right with that?
She has a night nurse. They give her some morphine, but she screams through the night. So my bed,
my God.
I don't get a lot of sleep.
Is that the dementia, or is that because she's in pain? I presume it's the dementia that's making her do
that. No, it's a bit of both actually, because she talks and mumbles in her sleep. Yeah, and I've got to say, the night carer has got the patience of a saint.
Aren't they incredible?
Aren't
they incredible? My mum was in four nursing homes over the 16 years, and every single member of staff was an angel. They were magnificent. I won't have a bad word said about them. They were just fantastic. They even came to the funeral. I mean, they were marvelous. They were absolutely. So, Lisa, do you get any respite? What do you do for yourself? What does Lisa time look like?
I don't really have any. I come on here and listen to you. At 9 o'clock when the carers come, before the night carers come, I go upstairs and I watch a film on my phone, and that's it. Really, at the moment.
Wow.
That's been for the last 2 years.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
It would be one hell of an insult to pretend to understand what you're going through, because I suspect that an awful lot of people, frankly, I should imagine Russ probably can imagine, ironically enough, but I suspect that an awful lot of people can't imagine what it is that you're going through. And I hope that you don't lose sight of the fact that it's not destined to always be like this, and that just don't lose sight of that. Your message before saying about how you can't take much more or anything like that, just don't ever lose sight of that moment at the end of the tunnel where better days will come. You have to know they will come back one day.
I know, it's just the loneliness, I suppose, as well, you know.
Do you know, it's like listening to this, it's just breaks your heart. It breaks your heart, Lisa. I'm not going to pretend. It breaks your heart. You know, it's like the worst sort of case scenario, especially with lockdown and everything like that. But lockdown eventually will go, and you will be able to do a bit more and see your friends and travel a little bit. You know, not too far, obviously, at the moment. But you know, does your mom know you still? Does she still know who you are?
Now and then, yeah, now and then. She didn't know it was my birthday today, bless her. Then she didn't know it was last year or whatever. But it's just hard.
Of course it is. Of course it's horribly hard. You know, Lisa, if it makes you feel the slightest, bit. My mum didn't know me for about 2 years, last 2 years of her life. Didn't have a clue who I was. That's nice, because there's only me. Don't have any brothers or sisters. So there you go. So you have to deal with that. And I would come out, go into the car park of the home, and just cry my eyes out. It was just, you know, it just rips you apart. So whatever you're feeling, A, it's totally justified. B, So many people, so many of the family here on Men's Radio Station utterly empathise with you. You know, they've looked after their parents in various stages of ill health, or they've lost their parents or whatever. They totally get it. You know, we don't
spoken public about this.
Say again, sorry.
So much for choosing MRS to do that. That's really amazing.
Well, no, I love you guys.
Oh, you're very kind.
I've been an avid watcher from the beginning, you know. I know I do get had in sometimes, but it's mostly
not at all. You're joking, not at all.
No, we love it. We love it. Everybody's sending big hugs and everything like that. It's so hard. You do feel that it's just you and you feel completely on your own. And you're going to have to just grit your teeth and look for little tiny bits of joy. And this, as Phil so beautifully said, this too shall pass. And it will do. And you'll get your life back.
I didn't realise that you were giving words of comfort there. I thought you were reciting your dating ad or something like that. You have to look for tiny moments of joy or something.
I didn't like the word tiny there. I didn't like the word tiny you shoved in there. That wasn't very good on a dating site. Right, Lisa, can we wish you a happy birthday? Don't be a stranger. Phone us anytime.
Hello.
Because if you're feeling crap after you've spoken to Phil and I, you'll realise you'll feel even more crap, and that's why we're here. To make you feel even worse.
Make you realise it could always be worse.
It could always be worse. It could be Phil Dave.
Lisa, seriously, have as happy a birthday as possible, and thank you so much for calling.
Yeah.
So can I say one more thing before you go?
Of
Russ?
course
you can. Yeah, sure.
To Russ, the reason I go on about your doggy Ebony is because I had my Boo, my little cabochon.
Yeah, lovely.
In the situation, I had to give her away.
Oh no! Oh my God! Oh God!
So
Lisa, no!
Yeah, I missed it.
Nice. Why you couldn't keep the dog? Well, obviously you couldn't keep the dog.
No.
Question, Russ. So sorry. Oh my God!
There's so much hospital equipment in the lounge, and I couldn't, take her out very often. And she was still quite puppy-like, so she needed training, and she was having little accidents with her. And I couldn't give her the time she needed as a dummy, So
she's gone to a good home, though, right?
Yeah, my friend's got her, but she lives away, so I don't really see her.
Well, maybe in the fullness of time she can come home. You know what, Lisa? Maybe eventually. Trying to be delicate about it. No?
You know what? You could potentially, Lisa. You could potentially FaceTime her. You never heard them give the dog a phone.
Yeah, I do FaceTime.
Oh,
it looks at me like I'm nuts, which I am. I love animals.
I have to tell you that I've got used to over the years for me, so don't worry about it. It happens. Anyway, Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And happy birthday, if that doesn't sound ridiculous. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Oh, my God. How humbling is that?
Amazing.
How humbling is that? Gee.
She said that's the first time that she's spoken about that opening. She chooses MRS to do that, and that's what we're about. And it's very flattering that anyone would do that. So thank you. Wow. Anyway, well, a lot of messages coming through, obviously wishing Lisa all the best for as happy birthday as possible. But now I'm afraid, the time for us to say thank you very much, of course, for all of your thoughts and comments. I do appreciate that it's been a bit morbid today, but this is kind of...
fault. That's my fault. Okay, I dictated the tone, and I apologise.
Hang on. How can you say it's your fault? This is not about fault. This is precisely what this show is about. When we started doing the daily program back in March, by the way, happy anniversary. When we started doing the daily show back in March last year, right? When we started doing the daily show back in March last year, the whole idea was that we said that we had to do something that was going to see us get through all of this nonsense together. And we knew there were going to be good days and we knew there were going to be bad days. They've got a real strange sense of timing, whoever's calling you. They couldn't wait 50 seconds, could they? Anyway, the point is...
Bolton. I don't know where it is. North of Hampstead, we don't care.
Past the Watford Gap. The point is...
definitely not answering the phone.
The point is that sometimes speaking about these things can help. And if that is something that we do, then we've done our job. Mission accomplished, as far as I'm concerned. So thank you very much for all your comments.
Absolutely. Bless you.
We are back on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday at midday, if I'm not very much mistaken. So who knows? Every day's Blur's Day today, I suppose. But
Showbiz royalty, Mark Moody. Good show today, chat. Thank you, Mark.
there you
Much appreciated. Ed, very, very quickly, we can't do a longer time because it'll muck up the schedule, sadly.
see you Wednesday at midday, everyone. Bye bye.